Good morning. My name is Samuel Aiwo Sali. I'm a grade 5 teacher. That's grade 5 Neptune, Korepa campus. I'm taking mathematics this morning, and today is Monday 11th May 2020, and the topic we're considering is perimeter of regular and irregular shapes. Now, when we talk about perimeter of regular and irregular shapes, of course, at homes we have different shapes that we normally use. Like our windows are in form of shapes, our doors they are in form of shapes, our mattress they are also in form of shape. So now we're going to look at how do we find the perimeter of those regular shapes and irregular shapes. Now first we'll look at the meaning of perimeter. What is perimeter? Now I say perimeter is the distance around the word shape. Distance around the shape. Now what do you mean by distance? Distance has to do with length, breadth, height. Now by the time you add the total value of the length, breadth and the height, it gives you the perimeter of that object. Now what are the examples of shapes that we're talking about? Now when we talk about shapes, we're talking about a square. Now a square, of course, is a shape that all the sides are what? Equal. You have four sides and all the sides are what? Equal. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. We discover that every side of this shape is what? Equal. Now the next shape is what? Rectangle. Now when we talk about rectangle, we refer to example a matchbox. Now you find out that the length of a matchbox is bigger than the length of what? The breadth of the matchbox. So you have the length and you have the breadth. So all the sides are not what? Are not equal. This is an example of what? Of a rectangle. We also of a rectangle. We also have a triangle. Is an example of a shape. We also have a trapezium. We have a kite. These are few examples of what? Of shapes. Now, coming to what we call regular shapes. Now when we say regular shape, what do we mean? Regular shapes are those shapes that has definite size. Now what do we mean by definite size? In regular shape, there must be length, there must be breadth, there must be what? Height in regular shapes. So any shapes that has all these feature, we can call that shape as what? As regular shape. Example of regular shape can be matchbox, maybe our cassette tape is an example of regular shapes, or our set-top box is also an example of what? Regular shapes. We also have our MTN card or Visa phone cards is an example of what? Regular shapes. Now apart from this, we have so many examples of what? Regular shapes. Now what are examples of irregular shapes? An example of irregular shapes can be leaves of a tree. Now, if you look at these leaves of a tree, there is no breadth, there is no what? Length. So it has no definite what? Side. The side is not what? Defined. Apart from this, we have also what? Rock. There are also examples of what? Irregular shapes. If you look at this, it doesn't have length, it doesn't have breadth, it doesn't have what? Height. So it's an example of what? Regular shapes. Apart from this, we have what? We have stone. It's also what? An example of what? Regular shapes. Apart from this, the normal shoe we wear on our leg is also an example of what? Regular shape. So what is regular shapes? I say regular shapes are those shapes that has what? Definite size. Now what are the definite size? Length, breadth and what? Height. Now what are irregular shapes? I said they are those shapes. They are those shapes that has no what? Definite what? Size. In them there are no what? Definite size.